Okay, good evening. Good evening. So this will be, I guess, a lengthy video with experiments. We will take 6 samples, two each of containers that exist here. I mean, it's not cool. It was only cool like with like freezing, because I do not replenish the ice. I mean, maybe I do today, but generally it's pretty much room temperature because I need like to buy a proper freezer. Anyway, we'll take 2 samples from the mixtures here, from the liquid mixtures. Also, I mean, these containers also contain like mixture with wax in metal container, but we will leave them for now. We'll take like from the liquids, and I take another 2 from the one here with the orange like cover. I think yes, from this one as well. 2. I have more containers, but I mean, we will do with 6, and we will watch it under the microscope. I'll try to document the whole process like in one video, or at least the first samples with the one continuous video. So I mean, they will forgive me if there will be delays when I put on gloves or things like that. So let's start. I prepared like gloves and like toilet paper and all sort of cleaning material. So everything will be as clean as possible. And I'll also prepare like slides in advance from like here. In any case, it should be much easier to maintain like hygiene than even like in the case of the videos with the paintings, because now we do not need to add any like alcohol, and we do not need to pounce like the material. It comes with it's in the water, so it's just the issue of cleaning. Cleaning the screwdriver between sampling and putting put it like in a new let's put it in a new slide. So it shouldn't be that much of a issue, but of course we will wear gloves, and we will do everything in the most rigorous way possible. So now you see the water, the picnic cooler, and you will see me prepare the slides. Preparing slides. So I take 6 new slides from here. Also 6 covers. Okay. Also, maybe some like kind of like a cardboard to place the slides on. So let's clean it. Let's clean it with alcohol. Just a second. Okay, so we prepared like a place for the slide, and this will be our sampler, the screwdriver. It's cleaned with alcohol. This will be placed here between the preparation of each slide. Okay. Now let's take. You see me? Everything is okay with the video? Yes. It's moving. Yes. So now let's take our containers. We have 3 of these actually. As I said, I have more than 3, but these are, I mean, let's take it. Do we see the? Yes, we see it. Great. And let's take it out of here. Oh, so it's wrapped in nylon. So we need to actually remove the nylon. Maybe you can see that there are metal containers there as well. I don't know, can you see that? There are also metal containers. We'll move the picnic cooler a little bit here. You see the metal containers as well. So there are also metal containers inside it, but we will not expect these now. We'll do it some other time. These are also interesting, but they are a lot less liquid and more wax and other material. And with magnets inside. This is like, if you're familiar with my videos, I mean, maybe you know like the metal containers that contain magnets. It's kind of like a recurring issue. Let's not get into it. Let's stick to the normal containers that are there. In order like for the neros to actually multiply, and by cloning and growing and creating life forms and consuming these life forms. So let's do it. Let's open these boxes. We use it. It's called the Japanese knife in Israel. I don't know if it's called. Have the same name in other places, specifically in Japan. I don't know if they even know that this is a Japanese knife, but that's how they call this kind of knife. Whenever I'm holding this knife, I'm getting like a beep from like a car or from like a appliance, because according to the Soviet method, I mean, if they will beep every time that I hold the knife, I will presumably at some time use it against some other person, and then I will commit like a crime and go to jail, or they will institutionalize me in like a mental asylum. This is the Soviet method with all its glory and its ridiculousness, and the Israelis keep trying to do it like for decades, even though certainly, I mean, why should it work? Why should they do such a ridiculous thing? But I mean, they keep trying because they as I said, they don't have brain. I mean, they are taxidermies that are operated by aliens, like, I mean, with very little intelligence. So they keep on trying the same things again and again and again and again. And one of the major things is like to do the beep every time that I hold the knife, because presumably, I mean, in some kind of like a subconscious way, that of course they cannot explain because they don't really have a clue. But I mean, presumably, I mean, those beeps will incite me in subconscious level, because presumably I do not hear it. Like, I mean, it's like presumably it's all subconscious, even though it's, I mean, manifestly not. And it's, of course, it irritates me, but I mean, of course, I'm not going to do any ridiculous. Why should they act like in such an irrational way? I mean, just because like a bunch of like Russian wizards with ridiculous like hypnotic theories, like in the 1930s or 1920s, like came up with kind of like ridiculous like theory. So now, I mean, their disciples in Israel, I mean, continue to do the same ridiculous, continue to repeat the same ridiculous actions forever and ever. But yes, I mean, this is Israel. It's a land of stupidity more than anything. Stupidity and violence. And of course, sexual perversion. As I said many times, noise is the main weapon of the Israelis. Because they just, I mean, they don't have anything else at their disposal. Only noise. So you can see the samples. Yes, so let's start taking samples. Before I take the samples, I will actually exchange like gloves. Oh, can you see it? Yes, you can. Very nice. Ooh. Can you see it? Yes, you can. Maybe you should keep it open. I mean, just so it will be easier to take the samples. You can see there is a change, like a difference in color, because the small one was used, actually most of it was used for like experiments with the wax. So I replenished it with my own pee mostly. So it's pretty disgusting, smells like pee. It should contain much less life forms, because I mean it's mostly my pee, because the material was actually used for all kind of like experiments, but it's still interesting to see what's inside it. But I mean, most certainly it will contain much less, both like robots and life forms than these ones that I mean are like 2 months now old. Like I mean, the liquid is 2 months old with, I mean, all sorts of like, I mean, additions along the way. Another question is that do we want to actually mix it before we take the samples? And I would say yes. Yes, I would say yes. Yes. Oh no. So let's take one like from the upper layer, and then we will mix it, and then we'll take another one from like after it's mixed. The big one is actually quite creepy, because we see air bubbles coming up, like there are creatures that are breathing inside it. This is quite creepy, I should say. But I mean, yeah. Okay, so I'll change gloves. Okay? Okay? Still moving? Yes, yes. Great. So let's start with the slide. Okay? Just a second. So this is one. This is two. this is 3 and this is mostly P. Okay, now let's do the mix. I would say that there is like a difference in the layers, like it's separated into different layers, and I've discussed this in past videos because there's difference between, but maybe it's not the time to discuss it too much, but I'll just say that there is like, typically there is a layer of like dead microbes, which is, and there are three layers, but let's discuss it some other time because I want to focus like on the practical matter. And also I want to turn on the air condition, but I'll only do it after I close like the jars. And so the things that I see here are, I mean, beyond comprehension. This is the stuff of nightmares, so let's put it under the microscope. You hear the neighbors, every time that I do something that they don't like, I mean, they shout because that's their main weapon. They don't like me running this video. So I'll separate it to 2 slides because it's just too much material that I want to inspect. And we will not take another one from the P sample. So we'll keep it at 6 as we like. They don't like me. You hear the neighbors? They are shouting. They are shouting their commands. They don't like the robot to do all sort of like experiments in the privacy of his own room. It's not the right of the robot. There's probably too much material on this slide. I mean, I try to think like how to reduce some of it. Because I mean, too much is not good. Maybe you should just, I mean, take another slide because there's so much stuff I want to inspect here. But I mean, we will not be able to see it under the microscope if it's too much. Oh no, let's bring some. Let's put some back. And also, we should clean some of it back to where it came from. And now, so this is, here we have too much material. I hope we'll actually be able to see something. And maybe I will put like a little bit of sellotape on it, because otherwise it will be very problematic to actually see something. Okay, so let's take another mix from the, let's mix like the other one and take another sample from it. Okay. Okay. So not leave it. No, let's leave it outside because I want to replace the water anyway. I put it like a little bit away from us, like maybe in here. Because I want to start air condition and I don't want to. You see, there are all sorts of like very interesting like clues. Like air conditioning is supposedly a clue. I mean, probably some. I mean, it's a Kant. I think. I don't know why. Like, actually, for a long time I didn't understand. Like, I understood that the air conditioning is like something important in them, like the local mythology here, like local mythology and like mythology. But I didn't really understood why. So one time I just asked. I mean, I was walking on the beach in one of my many like journeys, and like I saw like a young lady, and I was certain that she was like from the intelligence services. Like by now I can smell them. I mean, it's not very difficult to know like who they are. So I just asked her. I mean, what's her condition? So she was surprised, but she like she. I mean, okay. She hinted towards like the place. Okay, so let's me clean the environment a little bit before we start with microscopy. You're still with me there? Okay, so we don't need the gloves now, it will be much more easier to operate the microscope without the gloves, so I remove the gloves. What I will do is just put a small sellotape types on the very loose cover, because otherwise, I mean, we might not be able to see anything because there's too much material. So this will be done very, very shortly. I sweat like a pig. Oh my god. Whenever you hunch down, it's also part of the method to beep, because this makes you, this converts you to homosexuality according to the Soviet method. So every time like you, hunch down, do something like in your room, or like to pick something from the ground, they do the beep, like from a car or from like a home appliance. The idea is that, if they will do it enough times, eventually you will become homosexual. This is part of the Soviet method. So they do it continuously. Like for years, they never they never think like maybe it didn't work, like maybe was stupid like to begin with. No, continue. Because that's the way they are. So this will be perhaps not be like a successful one because it's too much material, but we'll see what we can do. Let's clean our hand with alcohol. And I open the blessed air condition and very important to drink something, water. Okay, so now we are replenished and it's time to start inspection. Okay, I hope you are still with me and you didn't find like the procedure too mundane for your taste. Oh my god, I'm sweating like a pig. Yes, so this is, we're still online. This is me sweating. Oh wow, oh it's so good, the air condition. But maybe we'll just slow the speed a little bit, so there will be less noise. And let's start the show. Maybe in order for this not to be too long video, we will not do all the 6 slides, but we will see. And I'm doing it as you understand without like initial inspection, as I do many times, like in the painting samples. Now there is no initial inspection. We will be surprised together to see. What we're actually going to see. So maybe we start. So we start with this one, I guess. Just a moment. Okay, so he's under the microscope. Oh my god, I sweat like a pig. And we can actually start the show. Adjust all parameters. And let's start. Let me just do the initial focus because out of camera. Okay, so let's start. Magnification of 64 as usual. So this is a fat one, very fat Nero. Maybe we should zoom in it inside. Again to 64. This is a curious life form. Another life form. And the Nero above. These are nice Neos here, the big ones. What is this? I don't know. Like gigantic ciliate or something like that? I don't know. This looks like a Neo or life form, or Neo that's creating life form. Or many life forms here. What exactly is this? I don't know. And it looks like something for the Alien movie. This is another life form. This is maybe a Neo? I don't know. It's kind of like an alien thing. This looks like the surface of Mars in the famous Cydonia photographs. And what is this? I don't know. Wow, this is actually very interesting. What do we see inside? Let's zoom in this one. Very interesting. Let's try to do even more zoom in. No, let's keep it like that. Or maybe we should try it just for a second. Like the maximum. So interesting what he's got in his belly, this guy. Okay, so let's get back to 64. So this one is interesting. Okay, so that's it about that. Let's do another one in this like video continuously. Now we will choose something that is more busy. I hope that we will be actually able to see stuff, because when it's busy, sometimes you don't get enough light. But let's just try, okay? This is the one. As you see, very busy. Okay. Yes, let's put it like more safely on the table, like the microscopic table. Okay, it looks okay. This is how it looks like on the table, and let's start with 64. Hopefully we'll be able to see something, even though it's so busy. We see all sorts of like life forms in different layers. This is outside of the cover, because it's like spilled all over the glass, not only inside, like in the boundaries of the cover, but here is where the cover starts. I don't know what is this. These are gigantic life forms. So yeah, ton of life forms in all sorts of like layers. I have no idea what is this. Perhaps someone in the audience here can tell us. This one is gigantic. So now we start to see some kind of like a huge object that, I mean, can you identify what it is? It looks like something that, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know what it is. What's that? I don't know. Certainly life form. More life forms. I don't know what is this. Maybe you should try to, I don't know. Maybe these are Neos that, I mean, transform themselves to something else. It's peculiar to me. I should say. I mean, one here and one to the left. This one is actually disgusting. What exactly is this? Do you know? Can you tell? Like it looks like alive, but I mean, I don't know. So again, this is 64 magnification. Maybe we'll zoom in here, like no. Let's do it. I really don't know what is this. It's a big thing, but what exactly is this? I don't know. Certainly life forms. Maybe we should try to zoom in on this one. It looks like I'm in an anchor or something, like of a boat. So yeah, we can see many details. It's nice. Wow, this is a big one. Okay, so what we didn't see in here is like Neros, and I'm not sure why. Maybe I should inspect it further, because in like previous samples I've seen much more Neros, and here I see life forms, but where are the Neros? I mean, like in the previous sample we've seen some really big one and like beautiful one, but not in this. This one, I mean, is much more poor in Neros, even though we see all sort of like life forms. Pretty scary ones, I would say. Okay, so let's do another one in this video before I'll take like a little break. Let's do another one. Okay, so it's properly secured on the slide. And let's take a look, see what we've got here there. Also, the good news that you will see Neos here. Many Neos. So maybe the first two were taken from like the upper layer, and we know that the Neros don't like the upper layers because they are exposed to oxygen, which is something that they generally don't like. And maybe these ones were taken, I don't remember, from the inside where they like to hide, because we see many Neros here actually. It's a fat one, and beside it something that looked like a microbe. I can't say what kind. So yeah, they didn't die. The Neros, they just, I mean, as is their habit to hide like in the bottom layers, probably due to the fact that they don't like oxygen. At least not in high concentrations. It's still an open question, like what's the optimal like oxygen percentage that they prefer, because I should say that oxygen, I mean, is like both like required for many, not all, but many life forms on Earth, but not all, but like many. But it's also toxic, like in like starting like from some kind of like concentration. Like I mean, even like 3%, like hydrogen peroxide 3% is enough like to kill many kinds of life forms, even though others require like higher level. And humans actually can withstand very high level of oxygen, but even humans actually can suffer from oxygen poisoning if they, I mean, consume too much of it. So even from certain level, it's even toxic to humans. So it's a question, but of course it's needed for humans. So it's a question, I mean, what's the optimal level of oxygen that is needed for the Neros? Like that is, I mean, they require for them to flourish. Like, is it 0% or maybe, I don't know, 1%? But certainly it's not high. I mean, because they don't like it. I mean, hydrogen peroxide do not kill them, at least not immediately, and this was like verified in many like experiments. But they, in the long term, they flourish like in oily mixtures with much less oxygen. So we see many things that actually I don't know what are they. I mean, this is the life form that the snakes like I mean I can certainly tell, but the big ones, I mean, I can't really say what they are. Like, it's kind of like a question. Because this one is pretty. Not far from the prettiest that I've seen, but pretty. What is this? I don't know. The big, like, orange one. I'm not sure what it is. This is another pretty one. Maybe we zoom in, like, to one of them. Who should we choose? Just do like a quick zoom in. This one, the big one, or maybe one of the smaller ones. This is 150 magnification. So I have all sort of a clues that I actually starved them of things that they need in order to actually thrive. And I will replenish the required material, but we will speak about like what I think it is in another video. This is for another time. But I have indications that they are hungry. Maybe they just ate many life forms. That's why we don't see as much as we could have. Like, let's zoom in just a little bit more before we finish with this video. And try to see something. This is a big, large magnification. this lens, like the 40 or it's 40 or 60 is 40 lens, like the objective lens is the biggest, like the longest one, so it presses against the cover. That's why when I focus, like they see the movement because it presses against the liquid, so you see movement in the liquid. You don't see it like with the other lenses, objective lenses, because they do not touch they're not long enough to touch the glass. This is a tiny one because, I mean, not the tiniest, but a small one. Taking into account that we, I mean, are now in like a very high magnification. So, I mean, bottom line that we probably have many Neros inside those containers, and which is great. But they, I mean, we see less life forms than we've seen before, even though we need to take more samples before we jump to conclusion. But my first like assumption is that they actually ate many of them, and they are starved. But we need to give them more things, like, and we should do it later. But they are, as you see, they are definitely here. Nice. Okay, so there are 3 more slides, but I'll do it. We will watch it in a separate video because I need to rest a little bit and drink something, maybe eat something. So we will continue later. I mean, with the other 3. And maybe even take some more later. I will see if, like I feel it's needed. So bye for now.